Hello, you're watching Hornbill TV's Prime Time. The Bangladesh Nationalist Party on Friday swept the country's general elections, which took place on Thursday. After the victory, the centre-right BNP is set to return to power in the country after 20 years. Tarique Rahman, the acting chairman, led the party to victory, winning two-thirds majority in his striking political debut. He is now on the course to be elected as the new Prime Minister. Born on 20th November 1965, 60-year-old Tarique Rahman, known natively as Tariq Zia, comes from the influential political family the Zias, who dominated the country for decades. He studied international relations at the University of Dhaka before dropping out, later starting businesses in textiles and agro-products. He first became active politically and within the party in 2001. His mother, Khalida Zia, was the Prime Minister of multiple terms, while his father, Ziaur Rahman, was a military ruler turned president. He was killed in a military coup in 1981. He was a leading figure in Bangladesh's struggle for independence and founded the BNP in 1978. In 2002, Rahman took his first significant steps in his parents' footprints when it was announced that he had been promoted to a senior position within the party. At the time, opposition described his rise as brazen nepotism. He was arrested on corruption charges in 2007 during a military-backed caretaker government and spent 18 months in prison before being released, and then left the country for London in 2008. Yet, despite living abroad, Rahman continued to shape BNP's strategy and policies and had been the party's acting chairman since his mother was sentenced to prison in 2018. During Hasina's rule, he faced several corruption cases and was convicted in absentia, including a life sentence related to a 2004 grenade attack on a rally she was speaking at. He has always said the charges were politically motivated. Since Hasina's ouster, he has been acquitted of all cases. His return last Christmas came in the wake of a youth-led uprising that removed long-time Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina in August 2024. On 9 January, he officially became the BNP's leader.
I came here to celebrate this.
What we need at the moment in the country is peace, stability. To bring stability, we need peace. So that's why personally I believe that revenge will not bring us anything good. Rather, it will destroy many things. If we are in the government, we need to provide jobs for the young people. We need to provide, bring businesses in the country so that jobs can be created, people can have a better life. We need to provide medical service for our people. We need to provide, rebuild the education system for our people. There are many challenges. To fight these challenges, of course, in this world, a single country cannot fight it. They need friends, of course. We need friends. Whoever will be, by protecting the interest of the people of Bangladesh and our sovereignty, whoever will be, or whatever contract will be suitable for my people, for my country, will have friendship with them, not with any particular country. How can I form a government with the political opponent, then who will be in the opposition? A government needs opposition to balance the whole thing, needs a good opposition.
জুস রাখতে আমার পছন্দ স্টাইলিশ ও ফুড গ্রেড আরএফএল চপ জুস রাখার জোশ চপ
I think, I don't know what will be their seat number, but if they are in the opposition, I hope to have them as a good opposition. If someone is a
Moving on, former High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh, Veena Sikri, has hailed the recent election results in Bangladesh as a major triumph for its people and a clear endorsement of democratic values. The election results of last night represent a great victory for the people of Bangladesh, she noted. Her remarks comes as the Bangladesh Nationalist Party under the leadership of Tarique Rahman has secured a decisive mandate in the 13th National Parliament election. Sikri described the outcome as a direct setback to Islamist forces that had aggressively campaigned for power. Meanwhile, Bangladesh's Election Commission has released the official result for 297 constituencies as reported by Pratham Alo on Friday. The AC noted that declarations for Chittagong 2 and Chittagong 4 have been deferred and will be pronounced at a later date, while the outcome for one additional constituency was postponed earlier.
the election results of last night are represent a great victory for the people of Bangladesh. And I think that the victory of Tarique Rahman is a victory for democracy, because Jamaat-e-Islami had been campaigning very strongly, very strongly, using financial exhortation, using religious exhortation, saying if you vote for Jamaat-e-Islami, you will go to heaven. And they were really, with the support of the Western powers and support of Pakistan, they were really all set to form a government on their own. And I think the way in which the people of Bangladesh have shown that they are religious, but they are not in favor of Islamic radicalization, they are not in favor of Islamic extremism, and they will not support any fundamentalist party. This is the first message, I think, from the election results, because we all know the kind of pressure that the people want, especially in the rural areas, because we know in the rural areas, the Jamaat-e-Islami has a very strong cadre, and the Jamaat-e-Islami had deliberately banned the activities of the Awami League to prevent them from participating, because we know that the Awami League also has a very strong rural-based cadre. So the Jamaat-e-Islami had assumed that because the Awami League is not there, so all the vote will come to them. But I think that, you know, with the effort that the people have taken, and we've seen that Tarique Rahman actually in the beginning was even campaigning against the referendum. He was campaigning for a no vote on the referendum. So I think the fact that the Yunus-backed regime, the Yunus regime backed by Jamaat-e-Islami and backed by Pakistan and the Western powers, they were campaigning for a change in the constitution. They were campaigning for a stronger presidential form of government. They were campaigning to dilute the history of the Liberation War. But we know that the BNP stands by the values of the Liberation War, and their founder, President Zia Rahman, was a freedom fighter. And so I think all in all, the election results, we have to congratulate Tarique Rahman, congratulate the BNP, and above all, congratulate the people of Bangladesh for being so sagacious, for actually recognizing the threats to Bangladesh in the form of Islamic fundamentalism and bringing to power a democratic party. I'm sure India will have very good relations with the BNP, and it will be very good for the subcontinent, for South Asia, for India's neighborhood first foreign policy.
Chief of Defence Staff General Anil Chauhan on Friday reflected on India-China relations after independence, saying that the Panchsheel Agreement of 1954, which included India's recognition of Tibet as part of China, was aimed at maintaining stability and fostering a cooperative relationship between the two nations. The CDS was delivering the keynote address at the Bharat Himalayan Strategy Forum at Lok Bhavan in Dehradun, focusing on the concepts of frontiers, borders and the historical connectivity of the middle sector. Furthermore, General Chauhan explained the distinction between borders and frontiers, noting that while borders are clearly defined political and legal boundaries between nations, frontiers are broader, rugged zones shaped by customs, traditions and historical interactions among civilizations.
So on independence, of course, the British left, and they had to leave one day, and it was for India actually to decide where are frontiers. So Nehru probably knew that we had something as a McMahon line in the east, we had some kind of a claim in Ladakh area, but it was not here. So that's why he wanted to go in for a Panchsheel agreement probably. And for the Chinese also, it was because when they had kind of liberated, so-called liberated Tibet, they had moved into Lhasa, they had moved into Xinjiang. This particular area was extreme from both the ends, so they wanted a stability probably in this particular region. So this area assumed some kind of a priority. So independent India was keen to build good relationship with China, and once it gained independence in 1940, China, once it was independent in 1949, it pursued neither its claims for enclaves and gave up the special privileges which had inherited from the British. I forgot to mention that British also, after the young husband expedition, because of this great game which was taking place, did inherit some privileges like keeping of armed escorts and trade agents, and in the middle sector they were at Ghatok. So once Tibet was occupied by China, so we gave up those privileges. We recognized China as for its permanent seat in United Nations, and this Himalayan buffer which was there between us and Tibet, that evaporated, and that would convert into a border. In 1954, India recognized Tibet as part of China. Both countries signed the Panchsheel Agreement. With this, India assumed that it has settled its border, the northern border, the only area which we assumed that was not settled, through a formal kind of a treaty. For India, the legitimacy of this border now rested on the Panchsheel Agreement, which it thought had been demolited by identifying 6 passes through which trade would take place or pilgrims will go. That are Shipkila, Mana, Niti, Kangri Bangri, and Dharma and Lipule. But the Chinese stand was that this agreement was negotiated only for trade, and it nowhere reflected the Chinese stand on the particular.
We'll be right back after a short break. Stay tuned for more news.
Ama, damdo kiman ase? Itu sabole lage na?
Hoy, kile nimite ami duijundo budget thagibole lage do.
Acha, thik ase.
Ami khan dam to hodai saide hoilebi dabate jankari likhikina thakia do kiman bar pure. Hodai saman na kine agote daba opor likhi thakia khota khan to puribi. Ami khan jankar hobo nimite sob thik pra sabi. Ki khai ase itu janibi. खाना खानते क्यालोरीज एकला न होइकिना चिनी निमक तेल आरो न्यूट्रिएंट्स किमान आसे इतो सब चेक करिबि किताबा तो हेल्दी खाना देबी चिनी आरो निमक बेसी थाकी जाय इतो खान सब जानिकिना थाकिबि सामान किनिया समेते होशियार होबी होदाय लेबल्स खान की कंपेयर करिबि आरो गाव निमिते जुन सबसे ভাল आसे इतो हिलुबि फोर्टिफाइड खाना तो की आसे जाने फोर्टिफाइड खाना तो होदाय खा लगा खाना खाने आसे चावल आटा दूध तेल और निमक निशिना खान फोर्टिफाइड खाना दे आयरन विटामिन ए आयोडीन और किसिम गाउते लागी थाक्या न्यूट्रिएंट्स खान मिलाइकिना आसे फोर्टिफाइड खाना तो आमा और बच्चा खान निमिते बेसी ভাল आसे इतु प्रा गाव के ताकत दे और इम्यूनिटी भी बढ़ाई दे फोर्टिफाइड खाना तो इको अलग न होय आमी खान घरते किनिका होदाय पकाय इतु निशना ही बनाबो और खाबो साबि तो 45 ना इतु लोहापरा जीवन आरो गाउते डंगर बदली आनी दिबो पुरिबी जानिबी आरो भाबिकी ना हिलुबी होशियार होबी आरो जानकार থাকিবি आमी खान लगा गाली बाल होबो निमिते 45 खाना हिलुबी sponsored by Food Safety Authority, Department of Health and Family Welfare, Government of Nagaland. Eat right, eat safe.
Welcome back. Dakshina Kannada District Police have registered a case against the government school administration for allegedly transporting students in a pickup van, violating safety norms and the Motor Vehicles Act. The matter came to light on February 9, 2026 in Parari, Balanja village, Dakshina Kannada. According to police, a pickup van was spotted carrying a group of school children from Balanja toward a nursery in Nalkoru for a field study. A tipper lorry was also reportedly involved in transit on the same public road, raising concerns about the children's safety. Following a formal complaint filed by Dharanendra, a resident of Balanja village in the Venur, police registered a case. In a significant development from Parliament, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju has said that the government had initially planned to move a motion against Leader of Opposition Rahul Gandhi for allegedly violating parliamentary rules during his budget speech. Rijiju claimed that Rahul Gandhi referred to an unpublished book and made remarks such as the country has been sold out, along with other comments directed at the Prime Minister, which the government believes were improper. According to the minister, the government was preparing to issue a formal notice on multiple counts.
पहले तो सरकार ने तय किया था कि एक मोशन मूव करेंगे और राहुल गांधी ने जो नियम तोड़कर और इलीगल तरीके से जो किताब पब्लिश ही नहीं हुआ उसका जिक्र करना और साथ में कई चीजों का बजट स्पीच में भी बोला है उन्होंने जो देश बेच दिया और अनाप शनाप बातें की प्रधानमंत्री जी के बारे में बहुत गलत शब्दों का इस्तेमाल किया कई मुद्दे हैं जिस पे हम उसको एक नोटिस देना चाहते थे। हमारे प्राइवेट मेंबर निशिकांत दुबे ने एक सब्सटेंटिव मोशन लाया है, तो इसलिए मैंने कहा कि सरकार जो मोशन लाना था उसको हम अभी ड्रॉप किया है। तो एक प्राइवेट मेंबर ने मोशन लाया है, तो कोई भी मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट मोशन ला सकते हैं। तो एक सब्सटेंटिव मोशन लाया है, तो हमने सोचा कि इसको एडमिट होने के बाद हम तय करेंगे स्पीकर साहब से बात करके कि प्रिविलेज कमेटी में या इसको एक एथिक्स कमेटी में या सदन में सीधा हम इसको ला सकते हैं चर्चा के लिए भी। तो वो देखेंगे, अभी कोई तय नहीं हुआ।
US President Donald Trump on Thursday announced that he will meet Chinese President Xi Jinping in April, with Xi expected to visit the United States later this year. However, the US President did not mention the exact dates of the travel.
Mr. President, is climate cooperation with China no longer in America's interest? And could you please confirm that you are going to visit China the first week of April?
Yeah, I'll be visiting President Xi in April. Look forward to it. He's coming here later in the year, and I look very much forward to it. No, our relationship with China is very good right now, and this is, not relevant too much having to do with China, what we're announcing today. But no, my relationship with President Xi is very good. Yes.
Meanwhile, Trump also emphasized the need for a deal with Iran, warning that failure to reach an agreement could be traumatic. Trump described his recent meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as very good.
We have to make a deal. We have to make a deal, otherwise it's going to be very traumatic. Very traumatic. I don't want that to happen, but we have to make a deal. They should have made a deal the first time, and they got Midnight Hammer instead. And this will be very traumatic for Iran if they don't make a deal. Look, if they don't make a deal, then it'll be a different story. But we had a very good meeting yesterday with Bibi Netanyahu, and he understands, but it's ultimately up to me. If the deal isn't a very fair deal and a very good deal with Iran, then it's going to be, I think, a very difficult time for them in the back. I guess over the next month, something like that. Yeah, shouldn't take, it should happen quickly. They should agree very quickly, yeah.
Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu shared his thoughts following a meeting with US President Donald Trump. Netanyahu said Trump sought his opinion on the ongoing discussions with Iran, adding that he expressed general skepticism regarding the nature of any agreement with the country. The Israeli leader emphasized that the agreement should address not only Iran's nuclear program, but also its ballistic missile and support for proxy groups across the region.
סיימתי עכשיו ביקור קצר אבל חשוב בוושינגטון, בשיחה עם ידידנו הגדול הנשיא טראמפ. יש בינינו קשר מאוד הדוק ומאוד אמיתי ומאוד גלוי. כמובן השיחות התמקדו בכמה וכמה נושאים, אבל למעשה במשא ומתן עם איראן. הנשיא חושב שהאיראנים כבר למדו אם יש להם עסק. הוא חושב שהתנאים שהוא יוצר בשילוב העובדה שהם בוודאי מבינים שהם טעו בפעם הקודמת שהם לא עשו הסכם, שיכול להיות שיווצרו התנאים להשגת הסכם טוב. רוצה לשמוע את דעתי. אני לא אסתיר מכם שאני הבעתי סקפטיות כללית לגבי טיב הסכם כלשהו עם איראן, אבל אמרתי שאם אכן יושג הסכם, אז הוא חייב לכלול את האלמנטים שהם חשובים מאוד מבחינתנו, מבחינת ישראל, לדעתי לא רק ישראל. זאת אומרת, זה לא רק הגרעין, זה גם הטילים הבליסטיים, זה גם השלוחים האיראנים. זה מוצתה השיחה, הייתי אומר, אם כי גם נגע כמובן גם בעזה וגם באזור כולו, וגם בדברים כלליים אחרים. בכל אופן, שיחה נוספת עם ידיד ענק של מדינת ישראל שלא היה כמותו.
We'll be right back after a short break, so stay tuned for more news.
इलाज का भरोसा, शिक्षकों का सम्मान, यूपी में आरोग्य का सबसे बड़ा उपहार। हमारे छात्रों के भविष्य को संवारने वाले शिक्षकों एवं शिक्षणेतर कर्मियों के चिंता मुक्त भविष्य के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार। यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के मार्गदर्शन और माननीय मुख्यमंत्री योगी आदित्यनाथ जी के कुशल नेतृत्व में अब बेसिक और माध्यमिक शिक्षा परिषदों के अधीन आने वाले करीब 15 लाख शिक्षकों, शिक्षणेतर कर्मियों और उनके परिवारों के 60 लाख से अधिक आश्रितों को कैशलेस उपचार की सुविधा देने का संकल्प साकार हुआ। अब प्राथमिक एवं उच्च प्राथमिक विद्यालयों के शिक्षक और शासकीय सहायता प्राप्त विद्यालय एवं महाविद्यालयों के शिक्षक, शिक्षा मित्र, अनुदेशक, रसोइया और उनके परिवारों को मिलेगा कैशलेस इलाज का लाभ। स्वास्थ्य का ध्यान है, शिक्षकों का सम्मान है, यही तो डबल इंजन सरकार है।
Gauri balpa kiniga dongor hoi jane bole monase. Gauri kane spunky kuigina dana introduce kriasi. Kuntu balpa saigina gauri ge nutrition digina dongor banable nimide ola lagasi. Itu do Mrs. Didi Poultry Khatkati Karbi Anglong Assam kuntu check kedo sordiasi tade pai jabo.
Welcome back. Tensions flared outside a hospital in Tamil Nadu's Salem as a scuffle broke out between journalists and cadres of the Tamilaga Victory Karakkam after a man reportedly suffered a heart attack during a TVK chief Vijay's rally. Journalists alleged that the cadres tried to attack them while covering the incident. A 37-year-old man from Maharashtra who reportedly suffered a heart attack during a rally led by TVK chief Vijay earlier on Friday, his body was brought to the hospital in Salem. That comes months after stampede during a rally held by Vijay in Karur claimed nearly 40 lives. Speaking on the incident, the police said during the event he suddenly collapsed. He was rushed for medical assistance but was declared dead, reportedly due to a heart attack. Police are conducting further inquiries into the incident. The deceased has been identified as Suraj, who resided in the Sevai Petai area of Salem and was engaged in civil-related labor. He was married and is survived by his wife and a child. The actor turned politician was addressing supporters on Friday amid heavy police deployment and strict entry regulations, according to sources. The deceased, who attended the meeting organized for party administrators as a spectator, suddenly collapsed. He was immediately rushed to Manima Hospital by those present at the venue. He was declared dead, reportedly due to a heart attack. Police are conducting further inquiries into the incident. And that was all for this hour's bulletin. For more news and updates, stay tuned to Hornbill TV. Goodbye.